Unrivaled League needs Caitlin Clark, and they are preparing to offer her a massive.
The WNBA is currently in a state of great terror after ESPN revealed yet another huge story regarding Caitlin Clark's unparalleled offer. Let's face it, the WNBA saw this one coming. The WNBA's lone bright spot, Caitlin Clark, has been pushing the league to new heights, but in exchange, she received a ridiculous raise of $775,000 along with a plethora of racist and physical harassment, all while earning millions for the league.
People are having to move their venues when she comes to play, and she's getting paid like $75,000 a year. She should be one of the top paid players in the world just for the sheer numbers that she's bringing.
However, the Unrivaled understand the worth of a true star. They're not only providing her with a secure environment in which she will be honored, but they're also paying her for her talent. No more nasty hits or disparaging remarks about the color of her skin. And wait until you hear the amount they're paying for just 3 months of Caitlin's time. Let me tell you the specifics because, believe me, it's worth every penny.
And it has also been reported that Unrivaled 3-on-3 League offered Caitlin Clark significant equity in the league and a salary that is over $1 million.
Unrivaled, a major international league, has offered Caitlin a staggering $1 million for just 3 months. That's nearly 15 times what the WNBA was paying her for the entire year, and all they're asking her to do is play for 3 months. It's like Unrivaled just walked up and said, "Hey, we actually recognize talent and we're ready to pay for it," while the WNBA is over here acting like she's some newbie on a trial run. It's not just the money.
Brings me to something that I've also been thinking about, and I've told you guys in the past that I do work with.
Caitlin wasn't just playing, she was running a one-woman show that turned the WNBA into a gold mine. Tickets were selling for the highest price possible, and merchandise was flying off the shelves. In terms of viewership, people weren't watching the WNBA, instead, they were watching Caitlin Clark. Every time she took the court, it was packed, and fans were purchasing her jerseys as if they had disappeared the next day. Everyone knew that Caitlin was a walking, talking revenue-generating machine.
It has been so clear for so many people the Caitlin Clark effect that she has had on the WNBA this season. We have talked about it so much on this channel. She has raised overall viewership.
The worst part is that despite all the money she was earning, her real salary for the year was a pitiful $70,000. Yes, you read it correctly. For the player who single-handedly propelled the WNBA to new heights, they gave her $770,000, which hardly qualifies as lunch money in professional sports. Because of her, the league was making a lot of money, but Caitlin herself was paid less than some mascots. This wasn't just about selling tickets, she was the name on everyone's merchandise and the main attraction, so the WNBA gave her a few pennies and called it a day.
When you're making such a buzz about all of these other players who are joining and you're just not saying anything about Caitlin, or you're not putting aside whatever millions of dollars need to be had to get her into your league, I feel like it was a missed opportunity.
And it wasn't just on the court, she was also receiving criticism for the color of her skin. Yes, she was playing in what felt like a battlefield, and rather than standing by their biggest star, the WNBA left her hanging. Meanwhile, Unrivaled is not only promising safety but also establishing the rule that they won't tolerate any of that nonsense. The WNBA was supposed to be Caitlin Clark's big break, her grand stage to showcase her magic to a national audience, but it turned into a battlefield literally one season in, and she went from being the league's hottest new prospect to a full-on target taking hit after hit. We're not just talking rough play here, this was practically a brawl, and it seemed almost personal from the very first game. Her opponents looked determined to stop her in any way they could, knowing full well they would probably get away with it.
The list goes on, but there have been so many players, coaches, media personality who have been so afraid to just admit the fact that Caitlin Clark has been the sole reason for so many of these things happening this season in the WNBA.
Let's talk about the incident that everyone remembers, Angel Reese. In one of the most intense games of the season, Reese went straight for Caitlin's head. We're talking about no subtlety, no holding back, she clocked Caitlin right in the face. Everyone saw it, including the crowd, the commentators, and the cameras, but the referees abruptly went blind. No foul, no whistle, nothing, and Caitlin had to just shake it off and carry on despite being obviously stunned.
Seattle, and all of a sudden, we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been all second quarter long, 44.
And then there was the nightmare of the playoffs that drove fans crazy. The referees simply shrugged, no foul, no reaction, as if Caitlin were some invisible player who didn't require protection after she sustained a vicious eye poke, not just a light tap, but a hit severe enough to take her off her game and put her at risk for serious harm once more.
Seen it? Ain't nobody go for a ball like this and then their hand go down like this. You go to block the ball, you would think she would do this or the poking out like this. How are you going to go for the ball like this and then have your hand come down and hit her right in the eye? Intentional.
After enduring all of this, Caitlin finally reaches her breaking point. During one of those really stressful moments, she lets out her rage and slams the referees suddenly have great eyesight and call a foul on the stanchion, acting as though they had been waiting for this opportunity. It seems that venting her annoyance on a piece of equipment was a warning sign, but when she was literally smashed in the face or jabbed in the eye, that's fine play. This wasn't an isolated incident, rather, it became a season-long pattern that fans couldn't ignore. Every time Caitlin was knocked down, the WNBA barely gave her a nod. It was as if she were just another player, and if she hadn't single-handedly brought them record-breaking ticket sales and viewership, she would get up. However, the referees weren't the only ones who dropped the ball. After that playoff eye poke that clearly impacted her vision, the league would not even acknowledge it. Did they make a statement expressing any concern? Nope, it was business as usual. Keep quiet and hope she would recover and act as if nothing had occurred.
They hate her because she's white, she's straight, and more importantly, she's better than everybody else. Period. End of story.
This is where Unrivaled comes in. They've been watching what Caitlin has gone through and they're making it clear that they don't mess around with player safety. They have a whole different approach, actual rules that protect players instead of letting them get beaten up with no consequences. If a player gets hurt, they don't just send in a trainer if it's serious. Instead, they have real proactive medical support on standby ready to go the minute anything happens. We're talking about on the spot top, not some haphazing attempt to patch them up and hope for the best.
But it will be interesting to see how well this league does, how much these women get paid, if there are any significant injuries.
However, the WNBA is likely unfamiliar with the idea of what happens after an injury. After taking hit after hit, Caitlin was barely able to get an ice pack from them. However, Unrivaled offers players full-on post-injury support rather than just throwing them back onto the court as soon as they can. They monitor recovery, provide treatment, and actually make sure they're ready to play safely. It's not just about taping them up and telling them to go for it. They want players to feel fully prepared, strong, and confident before they even consider returning to the game.
The average WNBA viewership, game, 7,300 in attendance, The average Angel Reese game is 10,100, 10,200 they come to watch her. You know what the average attendance is when Caitlin Clark plays home or the road?
What?
15,300.
Wow.
There is more than just physical torture. Compared to the league's average of 7,300 fans per game the previous season, Caitlin was drawing an average of 15,000 fans per game in her first season. That's not just big, that's record-breaking, and it's obvious that she was on a different level. Those 15,000 fans weren't just filling seats, they were loud, devoted, and all in. They came to cheer, chant, and wave signs with her name on them, and they didn't leave empty-handed.
They hate her because she's white, she's straight, and more importantly, she's better than everybody else. Period. End of story.
While Caitlin was breaking records, Angel and Alyssa had a different opinion. Instead of appreciating the enormous boost Caitlin was giving the league, they threw accusations about the new diverse wave of fans Caitlin was bringing, branding them racist. Yes, the very people investing their time, energy, and money into the WNBA were being accused of bigotry by some of the league's own players. It wasn't about Caitlin's skill or her game-changing impact on the league, where players are praised for their talent. After enduring all of this, Caitlin finally reaches her breaking point. During one of those really stressful moments, she lets out her rage and slams the referees suddenly have great eyesight and call a foul on the stanchion, acting as though they had been waiting for this opportunity. It seems that venting her annoyance on a piece of equipment was a warning sign, but when she was literally smashed in the face or jabbed in the eye, that's fine play. This wasn't an isolated incident, rather, it became a season-long pattern that fans couldn't ignore. Every time Caitlin was knocked down, the WNBA barely gave her a nod. It was as if she were just another player, and if she hadn't single-handedly brought them record-breaking ticket sales and viewership, she would get up. However, the referees weren't the only ones who dropped the ball. After that playoff eye poke that clearly impacted her vision, the league would not even acknowledge it. Did they make a statement expressing any concern? Nope, it was business as usual. Keep quiet and hope she would recover and act as if nothing had occurred.